What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Hot List. You are tuned in. I am your host, Matt in the Hat with Keller Williams Diamond Partners. Welcome into the Hot List. In the Hot List, we discuss properties that either I or agents in my brokerage have listed, and I answer a question of the day that is submitted. I'm sorry, a question of the week that is submitted by you, the listener. I know I didn't get an episode in last week. I was out of town, not able to do an episode and get a question for y'all. So I do apologize for that. Thank you guys for at least shooting me messages to see what's going on, if there's going to be an episode this week. So I greatly appreciate it. And make sure that you keep those questions coming because, like I've mentioned plenty of times before, if you have a question about real estate, you're not sure where to start, I would love to be the real estate resource you reach out to and start with. That way I can at least answer that question for you and hopefully give you some direction of where to go next. As always, if you have that question, the chance that somebody else has that question as well is extremely high. What better way for me to not only help you, but help others by using that question for content and future episodes just like this one? So today's question of the week is a great one, and one that I get about this year, well, about this time every year, I should say. And this week's question of the week: how do I know if my AC unit is bad? And that is a great question because summer is right around the corner. Well, at least for most of us. And your AC running around the clock is going to be business as usual before you know it. And, when your AC works, it is the greatest thing ever. It is up there with sliced bread and the spork. But if worn out or older, life can and may be miserable because you're either going to have to spend money on what is hopefully just a tune-up or money to replace the unit. How do you know when to do which? And we're going to get into that as well, because many homeowners believe if they hear their AC kick on or feel air through the vent, it's working. That's not always true with your HVAC system. Efficiency in the world of your AC unit and your HVAC system is everything. Older units may still cool like they're supposed to, but efficiency may be lagging. If your HVAC system isn't having regular maintenance or tune-ups, parts can wear out, which leads to less efficiency. If you pay attention to the little details, you'll notice maybe the amount of electricity your unit is using to cool versus a few months ago or even a year ago may go up. And if the amount of electricity or whatever your source is for your AC, I guess I should throw that out there. If that source keeps climbing each year, your AC unit is losing efficiency somewhere and it's beginning to show its age. Today, we're going to discuss 7 signs your AC needs replaced. First and foremost, warm air. If the air coming through the vent doesn't feel quite as cool or as it has before, best way to tell is stick a thermometer in the vent and wait for a few minutes, read the temperature in there. If it's truly warm air coming out and you have it on the cool setting, not still on the heat, could be a couple things. Could be restricted airflow from the unit, or maybe even a compressor issue. Restricted airflow could be a DIY job. Remember the routine maintenance that I just referenced earlier? Well, this is something that that I do each year on my unit, and I would recommend you do this each year as well, and that is clean the unit. If you're not familiar with it, obviously hire a professional to come out and get it done. If you're in the Emporia or surrounding area, there are a couple HVAC companies here that do yearly maintenance. I'd be happy to put you in touch with them. Just shoot me a message and we can I can get you help with that. But each year you want to clean it, clean the coils or the fins, whatever you want to call them, on the outside. This is going to help your AC breathe a little better, as well as reduce the amount of restriction put on by, whatever it is that's causing or clogging those fins. Around here, we have cottonwood trees that uh, the cotton from those trees gets in the fins, and if you don't get it cleaned off or brushed off, that's really going to make your AC unit work that much harder and cause your efficiency and airflow to go down. Which leads me right into number 2, poor airflow. Now, poor airflow is a common sign your AC isn't working at its highest efficiency level, or maybe there's a blockage in your ductwork that's preventing airflow from moving through. For example, if you have a clogged air filter, that's going to reduce your airflow. So you should change your air filter at a minimum twice per year, maybe higher depending on where you live. If you have a lot of dirt, dust, sand, and wind, all of that is going to come through your your ductwork and your blower. So you're going to need to change that air filter more often. It could also be that you have a broken or damaged motor or part somewhere in the unit, and God forbid, it may lead to something more serious. Insufficient airflow could be a number of issues, kind of like I just mentioned, but the unit could be aging, and producing less airflow in general. Maybe the unit is undersized for the square footage of your house. I know, for example, my house is a 2-story house, and that requires a minimum of a 3-ton unit. The unit that was on my house for years was only a 2-ton unit. So right away, the the unit was undersized for the house, so airflow, especially on the top floor, was restricted as compared to on the main floor. So if this is a constant issue, your home could use one of two things. It could use an energy recovery ventilator, or maybe the house is large enough that it just needs to be divided into zones. An energy recovery ventilator exchanges stale inside air with fresh outside air each time your system cycles, and it's just a way to kind of refresh and bring in some of that air and reduce the stale air. Now, zones, if your house is broken down into zones, this could be as simple as getting smart vents, like we've talked about before on the show, where you assign a certain temperature to a room based on that vent, or it automatically shuts a vent off if there's nobody in that room. You could do it that way, or in some larger houses, what is done is there are 2 furnaces and 2 AC units, and it's zoned off in 2 different sections. That way, each one is designated for a zone of the house, and it's a little more efficient. Number 3 is frequent cycling. This is an issue that I actually had with my AC unit for about 2 years before I finally replaced it. I put it off as long as I could, and I didn't want to, but ultimately had to bite the bullet. Your AC should go through typical cycle routines. No matter what the weather's doing outside, your AC is going to go through those routine cycles. Also, it's normal if your AC kicks on more often due to outside temperatures. Obviously, the warmer it gets, the more it's going to kick on. So that's going to be normal. Pay attention to that. But it should not cycle on and off constantly. Mine got to the point where as soon as it would shut off, within 10 minutes, it was coming back on. It was running for 2, 3 hours at a time, where now that I have it replaced, I think the longest it runs is maybe 20 minutes. But mine was running that long because they found a leak in the A coil, and so I had some refrigerant leaking. So if this is the case where it'll shut off, then turn immediately back on, this is the time you want to call in a professional to look. Again, it could just be as simple as needs a tune-up and cleaning, or could be a sign that you have an issue with your AC unit that needs to be addressed. Number 4 is high humidity. We all know that feeling, especially here in the Midwest, that you you know you leave your windows open either overnight or all day. You get home in the spring or summer, your floors and walls are kind of sticky, and that's because of the high humidity levels in the house. I don't know if you're like me, but you don't want that feeling, because it feels like you're just walking on like that slime that the slugs leave around here. Kind of feels like you're walking on that. And I mean, let's be honest, that's a gross kind of feeling. But what your AC should be doing is it should be removing, or at least moderating, those humidity levels to eliminate that feeling. So it's going to be, if there's humidity in the house, it's going to be a comfortable level, not that sticky feeling. If your AC isn't able to keep those moisture levels within that certain range, you need to call in a professional, um, because you could need AC repair. Again, it could just be as simple as a tune up or recalibration, but it may indicate that your AC unit's on its last leg and needs to be dealt with. Uh, what I have learned recently is having a buyer come from out of state. They have AC units, but they also have whole house dehumidifiers, because the AC, just because of the moisture and the humidity where they live in the south, that AC just wasn't doing it. So they had to install a whole house dehumidifier. So just depending on where you live, that would be something else to look into and consider as well. If your AC has recently been replaced, there's no issues, no leaks, might check that out as well. Number 5, water leaks. Just like the AC in your vehicle, the AC in your home relies on refrigerant to cool your house, which may produce condensation as it operates. Now, neither of these liquids should accumulate or leak in your home. If water is pooled around your AC, or maybe an active leak is found, this is the time you want to call in a professional, because these are both signs your AC is not functioning properly. So again, don't hesitate to call in a professional, have them uh, locate and repair the leaks as quickly as possible, because if not dealt with in a timely manner, those leaks could lead to either damage to the house, or maybe even something happened to you or your family. That's not a chance you want to take. So it's better just to call in a professional and get it assessed and diagnosed, get it taken care of. Number 6 on the list, bad odors. If there's something odd that you smell and you're not able to locate it, if you have a teenage boy, that is probably where the smell is coming from. But if you've eliminated that, it could be coming from your AC. And again, this is something you want to deal with sooner rather than later. It really shouldn't take that much to diagnose once you get a professional out there, because they will be able to tell you, maybe it's a tune up, maybe it's a thorough cleaning, depending on the last time you had it cleaned, or it's damaged beyond the point that it needs replaced altogether. The smell could be something that's growing in your AC, or maybe something that has accumulated in your ductwork that's got blown in there. Either way, call a professional, get it dealt with, and remind your teenage boy that he needs to shower on the regular. Just saying. I don't know if your boys are like mine. I've had 2 of them, and why are teenage boys so smelly? I'm just going to throw that one out there. That's not going to be the question of the week next week. I'm just going to throw that out there to anybody. And finally, number 7, unusual noises. Hopefully you have noticed, or occasionally paid attention when your AC kicks on or off. You'll notice that it makes kind of a like a low level noise. This is going to be a normal startup and shutdown. However, if there is a loud or unusual noise, could be the sign of a major issue. There could be a rattling or buzzing noise. Those often indicate that something is loose. There's also there also could be like a whistling or grinding sound, and this could be serious because these sounds aren't the type of sounds that go away on their own. I just want you to know that. If you hear that, it is not going to go away on its own. It is only going to get worse, and you need to call in somebody to diagnose the issue, give it a tune up, replacement part, whatever it's needed. You need to get that done sooner rather than later, so you aren't without an AC come middle of the summer. So that's it. Those are the 7 signs your AC might need replaced. Just to reiterate, this is not an exhaustive list by any means. This is just kind of the 7 most common signs. And as somebody who has been down this road, I want to help to the best of my ability and hope that y'all can avoid this where I wasn't able to avoid this. And again, kicking on and off when it's super hot out is completely normal. That's going to happen, especially here in the Midwest. And as you get further south, whistling, grinding, any type of screeching sound, something like that, this needs to be addressed before major damage occurs and you're without an AC unit for the summer, because the only time people call is when something goes wrong or something happens. And by the time you're calling, who knows how many other people have already called and already got an appointment. So the day that you call, if you'll be lucky if you get somebody to your house to diagnose it within a 4-week time period. I mean, that's just kind of the nature of the business. Also, don't forget that I have my question of the week form in the details section below for your convenience. So if you have a question about real estate, all you have to do is type in your question, type in your email, hit send. That will come to me, and I will not only answer that for you, but again, use it for future episodes. And again, one last favor to ask: please leave a review on iTunes or Spotify. This helps me get in front of more people and get their questions answered. So if you know somebody who especially needs to hear this episode or was just complaining about their AC not doing something right, make sure you send this to them, and hopefully this gives them some help and some direction on where to go. And if you're listening or watching this on YouTube, thank you guys so much. It helps with the algorithm to hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things that you're supposed to do. I greatly appreciate it. And again, I'm your host, Matt Johnson with Keller Williams Diamond Partners. I do this because your experience matters and should be trusted with a veteran. Y'all have a phenomenal week, and I'll see you next week. Take care.